हे दोस्तों, वेलकम टू अपना कम्युनिटी। ये वो जगह है जहां आप अपने असली पोटेंशियल को एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं। देखो, सबके पास स्किल्स होते हैं, पर क्या आपके अंदर वो स्पार्क है जो आपको कामयाबी की ऊंचाइयों तक ले जा सकता है? अगर आप सोच रहे हैं जॉब चेंज करने के लिए लेकिन रेज्यूमे सेलेक्ट नहीं हो रहा, या फिर इंग्लिश में इंटरव्यू देना थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग लग रहा है, तो फिक्र मत कीजिए। यहां हम हैं आपके साथ, आपको सपोर्ट करने के लिए। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगी बेहतरीन कम्युनिटीज जहां आप अपने प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स को सुधार सकते हैं। चाहे आप एक्सेल, टैली, जीएसटी में माहिर बनना चाहें, या फिर आप खुद एक ब्यूटिशियन या डिजाइनर हैं, तो यहां आप अपने काम को शोकेस करके दूसरों को टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स देते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगा मेंटर्स का एक खजाना और बड़े इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का साथ, जो आपको हर कदम पर 1-to-1 गाइड करेंगे। यहां आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं अपने फील्ड या इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक ग्रुप्स, जहां आपको ऐसे कई लोग मिलेंगे जिनसे सीख के आप वो गलती ना करें जो वो कर चुके हैं। ऐसे लोगों की जिन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था एज एग्जीक्यूटिव्स एंड आर नाउ सक्सेसफुल मैनेजर्स इन देयर डोमेन्स, जो आपको आगे बढ़ाने में मदद करेगा। यहां आपको मिलेगा वो सही डायरेक्शन जो आपकी करियर को नेक्स्ट लेवल ले जाएगा। तो लेट्स अनलॉक योर पोटेंशियल टुगेदर। अपना कम्युनिटी में ज्वाइन करें और अपने सपनों की ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचने का सफर शुरू करें।
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll start this session in a minute. Just give me 1 second. Cool. As you know, this is part of Apna Community Exclusives. It is a webinar series that we have been doing for the past couple of months in association with QFAS. So it is something that we do every day on weekdays at 7 p.m. and between 3 to 5 p.m. on weekends. We have covered a variety of subjects like product management, Gen AI, interview prep, resume creation, etc. Main objective of these sessions is to help you grow professionally, help in the advancement of career, get better jobs, and also expose you to industry experts who can give you insights through their experience and journey. So today's session is about system design of Uber. For this session, we have Ashish with us. A quick intro about Ashish. He's a senior software engineer at Microsoft. He has more than a decade of experience in AI and ML. Ashish is also known for his meticulous approach and innovative solutions in advancing technology. He has several years of experience as a mentor also, and he has helped freshers and working professionals alike. We're glad to have him with us today. So before I hand it over to Ashish, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box first. You can also unmute yourselves and ask the questions. We have both the options open. So Ashish, handing it over to you.
Hey, thanks, Siddharth. Thanks for the introduction and hello, everyone. Very good evening on this beautiful weekend afternoon. I'll start sharing my screen. Let me know. Okay, Siddharth, can you make me the host? It looks like I'm not allowed to share my screen.
Oh, sorry. Just a second. Can you check now?
Yes, I can. I'll share my screen. So, mm, Windows screen. Windows. Okay, whiteboard. Share. Hope you can see my screen.
It's loading. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. My pen tablet charge is down, so I'll get my charger.
Sure, sure, Ashish.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're talking about Uber today, the ride app. Like you, most of us might be using it on our daily lives. So, any questions regarding that before also Ashish starts, you can put it here so that while explaining, he keeps that in mind. So, feel free to utilize this time.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay. Everyone, very good evening, good afternoon. So we are going to see system design on Uber. Not only system design, high level, low level design, both we will touch. And before starting the session, I would like to know the experience level, or like you're fresher or already in IT industry, or based on that I can tweak my content. So if you can put it in the chat, make this a bit interactive, it will be really helpful for me. So yeah, what experience level do you hold in coding? If you can put in chat. Anyone? I see a couple of folks. No one? Assuming then you don't have much experience with coding, let's say start with that. Okay. So system design, or the design level for Uber, basically it's a platform where you book the cab, right? So uh, why do we study? First of all, why do we study these things? System design, Uber, Facebook, or any such big applications which we use day-to-day basis, which is hitting million users, or that's the key factor here. Okay, so that's why we study, because these are the applications which are hitting billion and million of users, right? So how these applications are developed, what are the priorities of those applications, becomes really crucial to know for designing the app. Okay, and as we grow in our career as a software engineer or data analysis or engineering manager or whatsoever, it's important for us to know end to end. End to end, when I say, it's not just about coding one part of it, but it's more about uh, it's more about from database to application server to front end to how to scale it for users, and how you do failover mechanism, everything. I mean, everything starts making sense. Yeah. So coming to the actual topic, system design, there are two type of design questions basically comes here. One is low level design, and other one is high level design. Okay. Under design, there are two concepts: low level design and high level design, and we'll see both the ones for Uber. Okay. When it comes to low level design, we say it is more on coding, yeah, which follows design pattern, solid principle, and all items like uh, oops concept. These things comes under low level design. Okay. High level design, you will be knowing most of the time components. So components like load balancer, application server, database, queues, cache layer, everything comes under component. So it's mostly about the blocks. Okay, how you are designing a schema, contracts for the API, all those things. Yeah. So what does when it comes to interview, generally interviewer will just ask design Uber or design Ola, Lyft, LYFT, right? This is famous cab booking service in US. Okay. So what should be your response when someone asks this question? Uh, do we have chat? What should be your response when someone asks this question? No. So we generally say, if someone asks you a question on anything which is ambiguous, you don't know what to respond with, we counter question, right? We counter question. So what we answer question the person that, okay, what are we going to discuss on Uber? Okay, what are we having in Uber to design? to design. Okay, what does an Uber application contains? So then comes to this. So that's where interviewers will say, let's discuss the functional requirement of the Uber. Functional requirement of the Uber. So what functional requirement generally contains all the items which you see as a feature in Uber. Okay. So what is the feature do we see in Uber? What features do we see in Uber? We see it. We see users can book the cab. Yeah. Then what we see? Cab can get registered. Cab can get registered. Uh, where? In the cab platform like Uber, Lyft, or Ola. All this cab booking system, they can get registered. Okay. What else do we see? User can see the cabs, available cabs. We see maps where the cabs are. Anything else do we see? We are able to do location tracking of the cab. Yeah. If cab is booked or not booked, some sort of like that, right? Let's say you book the cab. Do you receive notification? So we see notification also coming, right? In Lyft or anywhere else, not Lyft, I mean Rapido or even Uber, you can chat with the uh, cab person, right? Or user or cab driver can chat. We can have call feature, right? So Uber contains a lot of feature. Yeah, Ganesh, go ahead if you have a question. Oh, he left only. Okay. So it has calling feature also, right? When you book a cab, you call, that goes to the centralized place, and then the call comes. So these are called the functional requirement. These are the functional requirement uh, which are described by business. Okay. Now in let's say 90 minutes interview, 1 hour interview, it's not possible to discuss everything. Okay, everything of the functional requirement. So what we say, what is the minimum viable product, MVP, without which the Uber cannot survive? So what do we see? Can Uber still survive without a calling feature? Yes, Uber can still survive without a calling feature. Can Uber still survive with the chat feature? Yes, it still can survive. Can Uber still be surviving with location tracking if we don't have? Yes, still we can, Uber can survive. So the basic thing what should be there is user should be able to book the cab, and cab should be able to register themselves in the Uber. So these are the two important items which are minimal viable product for Uber to develop. Okay, so we'll discuss design based on that. Okay. These are the functional requirement, and these are the not only ones which are the requirement. Okay, so if you let's say use Google Pay or Phone Pay, both are basically what doing payment transaction app, but you will have a personal choice. Like I'll use Google Pay or I'll use Phone Pay based on what? Maybe your 90% of transactions are successful at Phone Pay, but Google maybe 70%, right? You Phone Pay is taking 1 second to transfer the money, but Google Pay is taking 40 seconds or something like that. So you'll have the preference based on the performance also, and that is where not only functional requirement, there's another part of discussion we do, which is called as non-functional requirement. So under non-functional requirement, what all comes? What all can come under non-functional requirement? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, Golu, if you have a question, you can ask. I'll try to unmute. Mm, I'm not able to unmute. Siddharth, you're able to unmute Golu. Has raised the
Uh,
hand.
he can unmute himself, Ashish. He has a question.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so Golu, you can unmute and ask. If not, then I'll proceed. So non-functional requirement, basically, as I said, when you develop an app, you want that app to work for 1 million user or scale it uh, uh, to the many user, and you want it to be performant, right? There should not be any delay. So all these are coming under technical term, which we say your app should be global, your app should be highly available. When I say highly available, it shouldn't be like uh, highly available means you developed an app, and during New Year, a lot of people started moving around the streets using Uber, and then your Uber app went down because of load. This should not happen. So that's what highly available means. And next, you want your system to be highly consistent. What does highly consistent means? When you book a cab, the driver should get notification or uh, the uh, I mean request, so that he can approve or deny the booking, right? So this is consistent. Within 1 second, driver should be able to respond to the book a cab request. Okay, if it takes 10 second, let's say 10 minutes or 15 minutes to get to the driver to notify, means system is not consistent or not receiving the notification itself. It is not consistent. Okay, so we want system to be highly consistent. Yeah. And what else? High availability, high consistency, latency should be low. When I say latency, it's query per second. So same thing. I mean, when it is uh, when your request is going to a driver within 1 second, it's called low latency. If it is taking more than 10 minutes, it's called a high latency. Yeah. So there could be multiple non-functional requirement, and these can be discussed in detailed way. Uh, Anyone, any question till here? I see Golu responding in the chat. Yep. Moving forward, what all things? As I said, there are only two personas. One is user, okay, and then another one is driver. Based on that, we will put the basic high-level design. Okay, basic high-level design. Okay, there are only two. Okay, so personas. When I say personas, the type of people. So I can have multiple users and I can have multiple drivers. Yeah, with their cab. Now, can user directly book the cab? Contact with the cab? Can user directly book the cab or contact to the cab? Anyone? No, right? As I said, we are discussing about Uber or some in between mediatory which is handling this. Okay. So this is what mediator is doing. Even if you don't have mobile app or you have just the phone number service, still you need both the party to connect using one phone service, right? 10011, some number person will call and say, I want to book a cab from location A to location B, and then this number will verify out of driver 1, 2, 3 who can go A to B quickly, and then respond to the user that okay, driver 3 will go to location A to B, and he or she, the driver, is here. Okay. So even if it is not an app, you still need a mediator to do the job, right? So that is where, who is our mediator here? Who is our mediator here? It's Uber. Okay, great. So as I said, now we'll start breaking these blocks. Okay, this is Uber, which will start breaking this. Okay, so we have users, right? We have users, and these all users going via load balancers. Okay, and the load balancer is interacting with user service. What user service is responsible with, responsible for? It is responsible for all the user data. Okay, so this is user database, which could be in MySQL, and also the service interact with the cache, could be a Redis cache. Why do we use cache? Anyone? Why do we use cache? Golu, Sneha, Priyesh. Why do we use cache? Caching? No one? So caching is used for reading and writing data. I mean, faster reading and writing data. Okay. So if there is something in database which can take time for you to read and write, you put it in the cache. So if I need to explain in better way, you have a wardrobe at your home, right? Now, wardrobe may have two sections. One place where you keep party wear, ethnic wear, and all the uh, dress which you wear sometimes, not every day. But then there is a place at wardrobe where you keep all the clothes which you use daily purpose, or something which you need to have the access faster. Okay, so if you need to have the access faster, what you do, this is a small amount of place where you are keeping the t-shirts which you wear daily basis, you keep it at front, right? So that you can have the faster access, and then ethnic wear and party wear goes at the back. So just understand that this ethnic wear and party wear is your main database, which is accessible only when you need it. But everything else should be coming from Redis cache, which is faster accessible. So user service first interact with the Redis cache. If the data is there, yes, take it, show it to the user in their mobile app. If not there, then pull it from the database and update in the Redis that, okay, this is the data I may need next 1 week a lot, and then push it to the user. Okay, so that is how user service will be responsible for. Other thing user service will be responsible for is like new user registration. Okay, delete user, all these things, right? Next, what else users are doing? User is able to book the cab, correct? So we will have a another service behind the load balancer is cab request service, which is responsible for taking the lat long of user, taking the lat long of user, and asking the cab, uh, checking for the cabs. Okay, so this is more interacting with what? It will interact with cab finder. Yeah, and this will interact with a lot of cabs. So this is how user service will look like. Now there are multiple protocols like HTTP. What else? TCP, UDP. What protocol users is getting connected with, let's say, cab service request? You see, when user requests for a cab gets booked. Okay. Then what you can see? You can see the live location of the cab in your mobile, right? Live location of cab. Do you see this in Zomato? Live location of Captain, Rapido Captain, I guess, right? Rapido Captain, you can see live location. All those things you start seeing live location. How does that live location works? That we say real-time data, real-time data transfer. So as and when cab driver moves or bike driver moves from position A to B, you see in your mobile that the person is moving. What technology do we use to show that information? Anyone? No? So here, though, definitely we have GPS with the cab or the bike, okay, which is putting the lat long information. But what is it making appearing real time here? So in general, how HTTP work is, it is HTTP means HTTP protocol in your web browser, mobile, everywhere you will see this HTTP protocol. It is request response paradigm. Request response paradigm. So in client server architecture, only when you request, you get a response. Okay. So this is HTTP protocol. Only when you request, you get a response. Only when you request, you get a response. Means only if I ask you question, you will answer the question. But here in live location tracking, what Uber is doing, it is showing the uh, live data of the driver. Now, cab user is not requesting for live tracking, right? Users are just watching it. So user is how do then this is working? Like server is able to respond the live location without any request. How is this protocol working? This is where we say real time transfer, data transfer happen with certain technologies or protocols. There are few of the options like long polling, server sent event, and WebSocket. So for our purpose here in Uber, WebSocket get used. WebSocket get used for real-time data transfer from backend as in server to the client, showing that where the driver is exactly live location. Yeah. What else WebSocket can do? Anywhere else WebSocket can be used when it is live data location? For Uber, it is showing the driver's position, right? Anywhere else? Maybe trading app. Trading. What does trading app shows? Trading app shows you the price fluctuation of the stocks, right? That is also live data. There also WebSocket is used. Your chat applications, live. You're chatting with your friend, and it is so WebSocket work with the technology term called full duplex bidirectional communication. Yeah, this is with uh, WebSocket works. So you see, I mean, you see a lot of places. I told about trading app, chat application. You'll see this getting used in even gaming application. Yep. So this is how things will look like on the user side. User as in the person who is using the over app. What it may look like for the driver. If this is the driver application, driver application again interacts with load balancer, and then the load balancer interacts with driver service. Yeah. And then the driver service interact with their own database, right? And its own caching. Now I have already explained why caching is used. So maybe Redis cache. Yeah. Now also it will interact with something called location service, which will be responsible for mapping the driver's location. What kind of database should we use for location service? What are location services technologies are involved? Let's say that way. Anyone? What kind of database or location services we should use? You have heard recently like Ola Maps, right? Ola Maps, then Map for India. Google, we already know Google Map, right? These are all location service. That is what we are talking about here, location service. These operates on top of MapDB, map database. Okay. So what are map database? Basically, the data which is saved is on format of tree having 4 child. Okay. So your data will be saved, your map data will be saved this way. Then this will have 4 child. Okay. And so on. How this database is converted to map? Basically, if you see the map, you divide map in what? 4 items like this. Yeah. This is your first first root node. Okay. Then again map divide in 4 items here. Okay. So that is your first node, second node, third node, and the fourth node. Yeah. So second node, third node, and fourth node. And then so on. You keep dividing. That is how the data is divided. So that is how map database architecture work. Okay. And this is what the database is used in Uber heavily to plot and user and cab in the system. Okay. Anyone, any question till now? No question. Then we move forward. Okay. So this is how map database looks like. Now for driver and customer to get connected, I have individually drawn that, right? Let's say we have 3 drivers, okay, D3, D2, and D1. They are all connected via load balancer to, I explained about WebSocket layer, right? So WebSocket layer is there, but it will be handled. So I'll call it handler 1. Same way, WebSocket handler 2. Same way, WebSocket handler 3. These are all again gets connected to load balancer which will be called for different type of services. Now we have multiple type of services. So we have cab finder, we have WebSocket manager, we have what else? Location service, which we have drawn above. What else? And then map service. Yeah. Now these were the drivers. Now how customer is connected? Let's say customer is here, customer is here, and it is connected via WebSocket layer to the cab request service. And then this cab request service is connected to cab finder to find the cab. Yeah. Location service again connected to drivers and the WebSocket manager to provide the location via map service. So this is how customer and drivers are connected. And high level, this is the way it may look for Uber for high level design. Now I'll switch to low level design, how it may look. So for low level design, let's say we have to code. If user interviewer asks that how do you code for Uber? Okay. So as I said, you should have good understanding of OOPS, solid principle, and design pattern. Okay. So you need to develop service where there should be a cab management system. User can register, means customer can book the cab, and user can register their cab. Okay, and then allocate. Okay, then allocate the cab. So you are seeing the entities, right? So you need a customer class. You need a customer class. You need a user class. You need a cab management system class, and you need some functionalities wherein you can book the uh, customer to the cab driver. Sorry, this is not user, this is a cab driver. Okay. And if there are multiple cab drivers or the cabs C1, C2, C3, you should be able to book to the user which is nearest to it. Okay. So if there are three users, this is location 5, this is location 3, this is location 10, this is location 7, this is location 15, this is location 83. And if let's say user 5 is booking cab, okay, which location cab should be assigned? 7, 15, or 83? So
7.
location 7, yeah, great. So location 5 should get assigned to the location 7. So how do we write this code? Write the code for this. Yeah. So this is low level design. I'll share my another screen where I have the code. Let me present entire screen window. Where is Visual Studio? No. Okay, just a second. Yeah. So this is where I have code for everything. So as I said, right, I'm sharing entire screen. So as I mentioned, we have three entities. Three entities as in the cab, the customer, and the who can book the cab, right? Three people, three entities. So you'll see, let's start with the cab. So cab has the name, like cab, uh, who the cab belong to, cab's current location, or the cab is free or not. already booked or not. If not, then how to assign the cab, okay, to the name and address. Now here, this is just an interface. This is the actual class which inherits from interface and takes the name, location, and whether cab is free or not. So first time if someone is registering, we'll call this class to register the cab. Okay. So create the class. Okay. So uh, this is about the cab section. Okay. Now we have passenger. What should passenger should have? Passenger may have name, address, passenger location, which I talked about. And once you book the cab, you need to acknowledge that the cab is booked. So acknowledgement message that passenger and the cab name which is booked. Okay. So three things. That's it. The two entities I have drawn are created. So these two entities are good. These two entities, passenger, which is customer, this customer and the cab. Okay. Passenger and the cab are done. Now the cab management system, which is Uber, correct? For that, we'll see this cab center. Okay. Now, before coming to cab center, let's go to the main program here. Okay. So assume there are two passengers. I'm creating two passengers here. Okay. Two passengers, Ankit and Vikas. Ankit is standing at location 10 and Vikas is standing at location 25. Make sense? Simple enough to understand? Yeah. Now,
Yes, sir.
these are the entities using which I have created. Yep, Dipesh. Yeah. Now, cab, also two entities I created, wherein cab cab 1 is registered at location 11, cab 2 registered at location 22. Okay, and whether they are free or not. So this last uh, property is whether they are free or not. So cab 1 I'm putting true. Let's put it false. Okay, both the cabs are free. Okay. Now cab center is what the main item is. This is what the Uber is. Okay, what Uber is doing, let's rename it so that you will understand better way. This is what your Uber is. Okay. Okay. And here update this to Uber. So in Uber, what we are doing, we are registering the cab. Which cab we are registering? The cab which we created. There are two cab we created, right? So we registered these cab with Uber. C1, C2 registered. Now to register with the cab center, they should have list. Yeah. So if I go back to whiteboard, this cab management system, whichever cabs are getting registered, they should maintain a list, right? C1 is registered, C2 is registered, C3 is registered, and so on. So Uber may have, let's say, thousand of cabs registered in Bangalore or some location, right? So that's where now I'll go in the cab center. You will see a list of dictionary here, dictionary, right? Which says, which is list where the cabs are registered with their name. Okay. If cab exists, register. Register means add that to the list. Register that. Okay. Good. So this is where the cab is registered. Now we'll go here. We register two cabs, C1, C2. Now we try to book the cab. Uber is trying to book the cab with Ankit. Okay. So what it will do, Ankit location is 10. Cab C1 is at 11. Cab C2 is at 22. So who's, if Ankit is booking cab here, right? Which cab should it get booked? C1 or C2? If Ankit is booking the
C1,
cab,
C1, sir.
yes, C1, because that is, yeah, correct, Deepesh. So it should get booked to C1. So let's see how the book cab we have implemented it. We'll go in. So what book cab is doing? It is taking passenger information, which is Ankit information is coming. We are going through each cab, which is free, Okay. Those who are registered, what is cab register? Again, the dictionary where we have all the cab detail. We go to each cab and we see whether that cab is in 5 mile radius or not, near or not. So for that, what we do, we to do passenger location, take the passenger location and cab location with which it is registered, and we directly assign it. Okay. Yeah. So this simple code for registering the cab to the nearest location. There's nothing much, and this part, the if you see here mediator, I have written why, because this whole code is a good example of mediator design pattern. Okay. So under low level design, I was talking about the things which you should know, which is more like uh, OOPS concept, solid principle, and design pattern. In design pattern, there are multiple design pattern. Creational is one, structural is another one, and then what else? Behavioral. These are three high level. Okay, creational, structural, and behavioral. Now under creational, there are another 10 types, structural another 10 types, behavioral another 10 types. Here, one pattern will come, which is mediator pattern. And this mediator pattern is the example which I have showed using cab management system. Okay, so Uber is mediating between passenger and the cab, and so we have the mediator design pattern developed here. One question: let's say there are two cabs within 5 mile radius, or let's say 5 kilometer radius. There are two cabs which can be booked. Which one will be booked then for let's say Ankit here? If there are two cabs within 5 kilometer, which one should get booked? So here Ankit is at 10 and this is 11. And if I register another cab, which is at 12, I'm just checking whether the cabs are within 5 mile radius or not. Okay. So out of this, anything can be get booked, right? 11, 12, whichever is registered first or comes first will get booked. So you don't worry about this, right? So when in Uber, when we book the cab, you see a lot of cabs in your vicinity. It's not necessarily that nearest will get booked. It's just that in that particular location, so that is where map DB is coming in scenario, the high level design we discussed, right? That every data is divided in quadrant. Okay. So how did I say map is divided into 4 parts in nodes? Map divided 4 nodes, right? In tree like a structure, there are 4 nodes, and then again tree like a structure, there are 4 nodes. Yeah, that is how map DB is built. Now again 4, again 4, again 4, again 4. Now if you are standing here and the cabs are first the nearest 5 mile radius, okay, inside this quadrant whatever cabs are present, no, those will get booked. Okay, nearest, and inside that if there are 5 6 cabs, any of those can be booked. It's not that even inside that it should be nearest. No, it is not like that. In that area, whichever cab is free, anyone can be booked randomly. Okay, just that from the other area it should be nearest, so other area it should not get booked. Yeah, so that is why I say 5 mile radius. Yeah, so this is all about the cab design system from high level to low level design, how things may work. There are multiple aspects to read on it. One is your cap theorem, base theorem, um, how we scale database, how we scale API backend, the one which we study on stack, message broker, if we use message broker. Where do we use message broker? Where we have a lot of requests coming in, right? Let's say in Bangalore IT Park, 6 p.m. we don't find cab, okay? Because a lot of people are already booking the cab, and all the cabs are booked. So where the request goes in, you see request pending, like it is taking 10 minutes time to book the cab, 10 minutes time to book the cab. What is happening here? Why it is taking 10 minutes time to book the cab? Because your message is on queue. Your request is on queue, which is with message broker. Now there are multiple type of message broker. You can read about Kafka, service bus, all those sort of things, right? So this is how the message broker comes into the scenario. Database side, I'll highly encourage you to read not only about MapDB. MapDB is one type of NoSQL data structure. Then comes the SQL data structure. Okay, what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL? Very important question. Any system design, not only Uber. SQL data structure is basically about tabular based. So we have seen user service, right? Where user details are saved. User as in passenger detail. So passenger details are saved in SQL, means structured query language, which is relational database, RDBMS. Okay. Because when do we use SQL? When we want to optimize the data to save. Okay. Optimize the data to save. That is where we use SQL. So you will have multiple tables in hierarchical way. The data will be saved. Yeah. But when it comes to the map DB, right, or any other database, right, there are NoSQL databases, which we say denormalized database. What does denormalized mean? Denormalized means that you don't have to be caring about optimization, but all you care about is saving the data somehow, like dumping it. Okay, dumping the data. This is good when you really want your database to scale fast. So if you wish to scale your database faster, you use NoSQL. Now that is where MapDB is coming in. MapDB scales really fast, so we use uh, NoSQL. MapDB is one type of NoSQL, and SQL we can scale it. It's not that SQL is not scalable, but it is vertical scalable. Easy to scale vertically, basically. Horizontally also we can scale, but tough to scale horizontally because then foreign key constraints and joins, everything starts coming, right? So easy to scale vertically and add more power to the CPU. But the MapDB, easy to scale horizontally. Yeah. So this is all I have for today's session on Uber to contribute to. Any question, anything, I'll give last 2-3 minutes for you to ask. Uh,
Thank you
yep,
so much,
Siddharth,
Ashish.
over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for really bisecting it and providing all the details. So, guys, like Ashish said, we have a couple of more minutes. So, anything about what he has explained, you want him to just quickly touch upon something that you didn't understand, or some other questions around Uber or system design in general. Please utilize this couple of minutes.
Dipesh, Sneha, Soman, any questions, anything you can ask. Yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for guiding
Yep,
us.
definitely.
Sir, I actually wanted to ask that as a fresher, how much do I need to know about system design?
Low level design is still very relevant people ask that, companies ask that, the question, the code which I have shown, right? Generally, people tend to ask. Okay. High level design, I'll suggest you to at least know API service, database component, not uh, that in detail, but it will be an added advantage to you in the interview that you take interest on these things and show that, okay, you have capability to develop end-to-end application. Okay, so I'll not go suggest you to go very deep, but knowing that can be added advantage in the interview. Definitely will be great advantage to the interview. Yeah. And thanks for the question,
Yes,
Deepesh.
sir.
That was great
And sir,
question.
excuse me, sir. One
Yep,
more
go ahead.
question that can you please share some resources or tell about some resources like what can we follow?
So there's a book called Alex Wu, uh, which is very famous for system design. Okay, Alex Wu book, and then there's uh, for low level design, specifically for low level design, read about design pattern, object oriented programming design pattern. Okay, so these things, I mean, internet is full of resources, so you should not, we just need to know what we need to study, and everything is available in internet. So I can tell you the topic. LXU is the good source for high level design, and design pattern using Java, C Sharp, or any language you can pick and read about it should be really great. But start with solid principle, oops, all those things are really important. Yeah. Yep. Any other
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, great, Dipesh. Thank you.
Cool, Ashish. I think we have no further questions, so we'll conclude today's session. Thank you so much, Ashish, again for joining us today and for sharing your expertise with us. I believe everyone who was listening keenly and also will watch the recording later will find this session very useful and resourceful. Thank you, everyone, for joining in and making this a successful session. A quick reminder for people who are here, please do fill the feedback form. It really helps us plan these sessions better. You can also visit the Apna website where you will see the recording and also find upcoming events where you can register yourself and you'll get the notification. So as mentioned earlier, we'll keep having these sessions every day. So tomorrow's session is at 3 p.m. We hope to see you all there. Good afternoon and thank you again, Ashish.
Thanks, Siddharth, for coordinating. Thank you, everyone. You guys have been great audience. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.